Everyone lives with fears. Our three personalities, POVs, determine the sum of our fears. So let's get started. I imagine every listener has a particular set of fears. Some might be humorous, like the fear of walking under a ladder, or the fear of losing a lucky piece of clothing. But many are serious, like the fear of losing a job, or speaking in public, or losing a child, or getting COVID-19. Well, in this video, the topic is fear. And whenever discussing a topic, it's important to know the definitions of terms and concepts. So let's make sure we have ours straight. I've checked reputable neuroscience and psychology sources for the following. Emotions are intense biological responses to immediate stimuli, while feelings are the cognitive or mental interpretations of them. And here's a definition of fear: an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain, or pose a threat. And fear can be caused by past incidents or traumas. Certain situations might have a lasting effect on how you feel about them. Learned responses from early life. This is also known as conditioned response. Reactions and responses to panic, long-term stress, genetic factors. And here are some responses to fear: fight, flight, freeze, and cater or appease it. Fear is one of the most basic human emotions. It is programmed into the nervous system and works like an instinct. From the time we're infants, we are equipped with the survival instincts necessary to respond to fear when we sense danger or feel unsafe. How does fear affect us? Well, it releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Your blood pressure and heart rate increase. You start breathing faster. Even your blood flow changes. Blood actually flows away from your heart and into your limbs, making it easier for you to start throwing punches or run for your life. Our stomachs and intestines store our feelings or fear. The adage, "I'm sick to my stomach," justifies this. Fear is another negative emotion that has far-reaching repercussions on our health. It can cause digestive problems, pain in the gut, and bloating. And when prolonged, it can cause blinding, paralyzing headaches. How we deal with fear? Well, according to clinical studies, the fear-handling archetypes include the procrastinator. People put off handling it. The rule follower. Do what seems like an easy way out. The people pleaser. Do what will appease it. The outcast. Pretend you're the only one who's ever felt this way. The self-doubter. Question what you're feeling. The excuse maker. Pretend it's just a temporary thing. And the pessimist. Say there's nothing you can do to ever feel better again. Studies also identify techniques for fighting fear. Take time out. Breathe and concentrate on your breathing. Face your fears. Imagine the worst. Look at the evidence. Don't try to be perfect. Visualize a happy place. Talk about your fear. Take time out and reward yourself or distract yourself. Okay, all the above makes sense. And please remember that each of us includes three personas. It's our cognitive, our emotional, and our physical selves. And each person has different point of views, POVs. We can view what's going on from our family, career, hobby, community, or socio-political point of view, as well as philosophical and religious points of view. And our personality plays a major role when considering our point of view. So let's define personality. It equals the sum of our attitudes, values, beliefs, and behaviors. Psychologists usually pair an emotion with its opposite when talking about it. Here are some examples. Love or hate with anger, happy with sad, pleasure with pain, winning or gaining with losing or loss. And here's a list of emotions paired with their opposites that I found on a psychological association website. Anger with calmness, hate with love, fear with joy, sadness and depression with happiness, guilt with innocence, disgust with attraction, surprise with expectation, anticipation with boredom, frustration with calmness. I'm sure you can add to them, but this is a pretty good list. I searched for articles or podcasts that talked about what Americans fear the most today. And here are some representative findings from one titled The American Fear Index. More than half of the U.S. adults are afraid of illness, violence, saving for retirement, government corruption. 2020 was a difficult year full of extraordinary events that left many Americans reeling. A raging pandemic, an economic recession, a contested election, and a dramatic Washington, D.C. insurrection. These are just a few events that had tensions running high nationwide. As such, we wanted to gauge how Americans approached their fears and managed their stress in the recent years. The research into the experiences of 2,000 people from all walks of life have created a snapshot of what Americans most feared during one of the most difficult couple of years to date. Here are the top 10 fears in 2021, according to this survey. Loved ones dying, loved ones becoming seriously ill, mass shootings, not having enough money for retirement, terrorism, government corruption, becoming terminally ill, hate crimes, high medical bills, widespread civil unrest. Overall, health issues and public violence emerged as the most pressing worries, with financial strain, distrust of government, and environmental concerns looming alongside standard fears like crime, slimy creatures, and car crashes. The comprehensive study revealed that 45% of people are experiencing more daily anxiety and fear than they were a year or so ago. And a year of isolation and conflict, the idea of losing loved ones, generates a great deal of fear. 65% of the people surveyed were afraid of the death of a loved one. And 1 in 5 people were afraid of losing relationships due to political differences. I found a Chapman University survey that says pretty much the same, so I'm not going to summarize that for you. There are many self-help books that can give advice for dealing with fear and other debilitating emotions, and you might have read one or two. I attend numerous writing seminars because I'm a writing coach, and a speaker at one I attended recently said every writer should read the book titled The War of Art, subtitled Break Through the Blocks and Win Your Inner Creative Battles. It was written by Stephen Pressfield, who's most noted for the novel turned into a movie called The Legend of Bagger Vance. The Art of War gives wonderful advice for all artists, writers, musicians, painters, sculptors, or anyone who creates original things. Because writer's block is the biggest fear all artists have. And please remember that each of us is our own self-artist. We create the life we are living, which we hope is that of our authentic self. The book's title is a clever play of words using the famous military strategy book written centuries ago by Sun Tzu, and that's The Art of War. Pressfield's War of Art will be good for any writer or author or artist listening to this podcast, but I think everyone can apply some of what it says. So here's my summary. It contains only 165 pages, and each page has plenty of white space and a title or pithy description of what it says. And it is divided into 3 sections called Books 1, 2, and 3. Book 1, titled Resistance, Defining the Enemy, says that fear causes writer or artist's block, and the fear paralyzes our creativity by putting things in the way that make us do something other than create our work of art, be it a novel, a song, or a painting. Resistance is a universal enemy of all creative people. What are some examples? Eating, drinking, going to a party, etc., etc. Anything that gives us short-term pleasure that'll distract us. And the more we cave into resistance, the greater we doubt our ability to create. Book 2, titled Combating Resistance, Turning Pro, says that for a person to achieve success, and that is overcoming fear and being creative, you must play the role of a professional in whatever field you have chosen, not that of an amateur who dabbles. Professionals force themselves to get up every day and work. They know that some days will be unpleasant, but they know how to handle the misery that this can cause. Pros are patient and act in the face of fear. They don't make excuses, don't blame others. They master their tools and adjust. They also will recognize their limitations and ask for help when needed, and they never give up. Book 3, titled Beyond Resistance, The Higher Realm, becomes more of a spiritual, metaphysical description of our creativity. Creativity is a mystical, better angel part of being human, and each of us has it buried in our subconscious. The author calls it our muse, and we must let it speak to us because it will tell us our creative purpose in life. The muse is our authentic self. The ego is our everyday self, and the ego sometimes caves into fear, but not the authentic self. It will overcome our fear if we listen to it. And if we do, we will ignore the hierarchies society puts us in, and instead operate in the territory meant for us, be it writing, painting, composing, or whatever career we've chosen. And the supreme virtue of our muse is to realize that if we sometimes fail, that will make us better as we continue our creative journey. You might find the author's metaphysical musings are a bit overdone, and if you do, treat them as a metaphor for what makes you creative. And that's a wrap for this podcast. I hope you take something away that can help you each and every day. So thank you for listening, and I will say bye-bye until next time.